And then a good site for you to look up, which you may have already seen it, but is IATA. That's the Iowa Art Therapy Association.
Okay.
And then there's the American Art Therapy Association, which is just AATA. And they have a website. And they'll tell you a lot of this stuff as well.
Okay. How did you find your job?
I got really lucky. I really needed a job, and they have youth counselors, which are basically the kids that work, or the workers that are like 24 hours a day with the kids, not all at once, but they're there, 3 days and then 3 days off. So I went in to work as a youth counselor, and the person that interviewed me just told me I was way overqualified, which I knew, but I needed a job. And I guess they were also hiring for a therapist, so she sent me over to the person who hires therapists, and they loved that I was an art therapist because theirs just moved to Utah. So I just really got good timing, and that somebody was leaving, their play art therapist was leaving, and so they were happy to hire me because there's not a whole lot of art therapists that come around. So
are you like the only art therapist that works here, or is there more?
I'm the only art therapist that works here. There's a play therapist here, and we work with the younger ones, and then there's just another therapist that has their regular mental health license.
Okay. What do you do at your job? You really told me, but...
Well, I see 20 kids a week at least. I guess I see 21 because I have 21 right now. I just got a new one. I see them at school and after school, and basically have all individual sessions. I don't really do groups because I don't really have time for it, and there's not a need for it here, especially with the little ones. They're all age 6 to age 13, the ones I see. And I don't know, several different art projects and carrying a bag full of art materials and different toys, basically.
Would you say your job is fulfilling?
Yeah, it's definitely fulfilling. It's very busy. It's not boring. It's always different. I mean, it's the kind of job that you think something's going to, like, you're never completely prepared for the day, which I think is fun because it makes the week go by very quickly.
Yeah. Are you involved in, like, any groups involving art therapy?
Well, I'm in that Iowa Art Therapy Association, which they meet, I think, like 4 or 5 times a year and have meetings all around Iowa. Usually they're in Des Moines, but sometimes they're other places. And we just meet and usually do art together and then just talk about business stuff of like where we're going to have the next meeting and what's going on with conferences and trainings and things like that. And then I'm a member of the American Art Therapy Association, which doesn't really have meetings, but it's more of a informational like website kind of thing where you can see jobs and like post your resume, and you get an art therapy magazine quarterly as well. And it's just kind of a like art therapy club kind of thing. But, yeah.
What are your future plans? Do you like plan to stay here, or do you plan to get your
Well, I plan to get my license, which I have like 30 hours or so left of supervision to get my art therapy license. I plan on getting my counseling license, which should be in the end of July, because that'll be my 2 years for counseling. And I plan on staying here as long as I can. I mean, I'm kind of life-wise, I'm getting married, so if my fiancé was to get a job in another state, we'd probably move somewhere else. But that's just because I'm not from Iowa, and so I don't really love Iowa. Even though I love the job, I could see moving to other places. But no, this job is great, and it's got a lot of people that are very supportive. So I don't intend on going anywhere.
Where are you from?
I'm from Illinois.
Illinois. How'd you get to Iowa?
My fiance lives here.
Oh.
And it's a lot easier to find a job in Iowa than it is in Illinois when I graduated.
Huh.
So I looked in both places and I found one here first.
What are your hours like?
Well, they're supposed to be 9 to 5, but I usually work much more than that. After we see a kid, we have a note that we have to write up for him. And so a lot of times I'll end up seeing the kids because like 21 hours a kid, plus checking in on them and everything like that, trying to fit that into 40 hours, even though it doesn't sound like much, it's a ton.
Yeah.
And so I usually work like 50 hours a week, to be honest with you. And like Mondays I'll work, I don't know, a little bit before 9 until, I don't leave until 8. Mondays are my long days. Every other day I work about 9 to 5. But it usually takes one day of working extra hours to fit everybody in. And I also do an ALTeen group for kids here, which is why I stay late on Mondays.
Is that like, what kind of group is that?
Well, it has nothing to do with art. It's kids that have had parents that use alcohol or drugs. And I mostly just supervise the group because I thought it was important to get it here. And so I called around the community and got somebody to run it. And I just kind of supervise it to make sure a kid doesn't run out of it or throw a tantrum in the middle of it or something like that.
Okay. Is there a lot of paperwork? Like, what kind of paperwork do you have to do?
Basically, you write a note on every kid you see. Here, they really like to hold you accountable for your time. So if I call a parent and spend 20 minutes on the phone with a parent, I write up a note on generally what I talked to them about, and then it took 20 minutes and that kind of thing. So writing notes on phone calls, which takes like, depending on the phone call, anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes. And then if I meet with a kid, that note will take anywhere from, 10 minutes to 20 minutes to write up. And it's basically just kind of generally stating what I do with the kid. When I get my license, I'll have assessments to do, which I think take an hour to 2 hours to do on each kid. And that's kind of keeping them able to be here, getting funding for them, letting the state know why it is we feel they need treatment. And so right now, basically the paperwork I have is just equal to the amount of kids I have. When I get my license, there'll be more.
Yeah.
But, and probably more time as well. So like I said, it's a busy job. But that's not necessarily what it is everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to deter you from it because of all the paperwork.
Yeah. Those are all the questions I have.
Okay.
Yeah.